Good morning. Morning, everyone. Boy, I haven't been called Robert in a while, so I go by Bob. So normally I know if you know me or not if you call me Robert. But I'd just like to take a couple minutes, and that panel was really great. I really like to comment about, the innovators and entrepreneurs in the different lines of business. And of course, Gary Washington's doing great stuff over at USDA. But one of the challenges that we see that most agencies are wrestling with is how do you embrace emerging technologies? And the panel addressed some of that as well. So I'd just like to take a couple of minutes and talk a little bit about that and how agencies can modernize and transform in a much more easy fashion than they perhaps could have previously. But how many of you use Waze, or you use Lyft, or you use Uber to get around town? Yeah, most of us, right? So I took Uber to come down today, and normally that's a really painless experience, right? Uber's one of those disruptors like Waze and like Amazon and Lyft and all those types of technologies. And I just don't like to have to drive downtown and find a place to park, particularly when it's raining, right? Because you end up getting all wet, and you smell like a dog in your suit. But today didn't, about 0.1% of those rides don't really go the way that you hope. And today was one of those. So traffic conspired, the weather conspired. I ended up having to walk the last 4 blocks to get here because my Uber driver had a little bit of an issue. But that technology has changed the experience of rides for hire, right? So I'm not a big taxi fan. I never did like taxis, never had really good experiences with those. But have you taken a taxi lately? Hasn't that experience changed as well? Because the Uber and the Lyft model has forced the taxi industry into upping their game in order to stay in business. That type of technology disruption is training our employees and the citizens who are receiving services from our agencies. They expect this type of a service delivery model that's easy to use, consumer-like, it's mobile, you can do it with a few clicks and swipes and you get what you're looking for. Information is now aggregated in the platform of choice that we carry around with us so that we can make the appropriate decision in a multitude of things that we're trying to do in our normal commercial lives. Think about Amazon for a while. Now, let's ignore the fact that Jeff Bezos lost $9 billion of his personal wealth yesterday on the stock market. I don't think he really even noticed that, you know what I mean? But he has totally revolutionized the retail buying experience. Many people don't even attend or shop in brick and mortar stores anymore. They do most of their shopping online, and we can thank Amazon for that type of an experience. But he changed not just the user retail consumer experience, but also the entire supply chain of buying something online, didn't he? Because now, because of the partnerships they have with different shipping companies, you can track your purchase from the time that you hit pay on the account that you've already associated with your Amazon Prime, all the way to when it was delivered to your door. That's a pretty spectacular user experience and the expectations that are being set for our employees. Disruptors have really expanded into areas that we might not even think about, right? So in the agriculture industry, I'm from Texas, so I got a little place down there and I've got a tractor and I happen to have this type of a phone cover on my phone. It's a John Deere, and people think, Bob's from Texas and he's got a tractor, so he's a hick and he's got a John Deere cover. Actually not. This is a great conversation starter because John Deere is one of the leading technology industries in GPS and autonomous driving tractors. So they've adopted and adapted, utilizing new technologies to be able to place seeds at the appropriate distance for all the environmental factors to get the biggest yield per acre of land. That's a really cool use case in how they've transformed what's thought of as a very agrarian industry, right? I'm going to skip over Domino's in the center for a second and talk about Spotify. Music. Everybody loves it. I've got a whole bunch of it on my phone. You might be surprised at my playlist. I may be more surprised at yours. But when was the last time you bought an entire album, right? We never used to like all the songs on most of the albums anyway, right? You bought it for 1 or 2 songs, but you had to buy all of it. Well, Technologies like Spotify have brought the buy by the drink, have what you want when you want it at the appropriate time, delivered when you want to consume it, as an expectation of our customers. Now let's go to Domino's Pizza. Now normally pizza is not considered to be a great technology industry like tractors in the farms. But now Domino's, so how many see the commercial? I know if you watch football, you've seen these commercials where, you know, if you hit a pothole in your car going home and you wreck your pizza, you phone it in and they'll come out and pave the pothole on your road. Have you seen those commercials? That's a great marketing ploy. Now I'm not buying that they're going to come around DC and pave all these potholes for us if we call them in because of pizza, but it's a great marketing ploy on how they're reacting and responding to the consumer's needs. They're talking about starting to deliver via drones. Now, I mentioned I'm from Texas, so as you might think, you know, Texans have some firearms. So you know what Texans call drone-delivered pizzas? Target practice with prizes. Yeah, think about it. But they're transforming that delivery experience as well. So you can order your pizza online now, you can watch how it's being cooked and then go pick it up or have it delivered. So this type of disruptive technology is really changing the expectation of our employees in our agencies and the citizens that are consuming our services. Our user experience in interacting with technology in our commercial lives is changing radically as well. So now we're being conditioned not even to type, swipe, or do any of that, but just talk. So natural language recognition is commonplace on virtually every platform that we use. And I recently bought a new Jeep, and it has Apple CarPlay integration in it, which is really cool. Although my wife isn't too cool with the fact that I turned the voice interaction to this really cool Australian lady who now gives me my directions. I had to answer for that a little bit, but I figured, hey, if another lady was going to tell me what to do, I want to be, have a pleasant experience with her voice. But that type of a user experience is what we're conditioned to expect now. Having to search through menus and make commands and type in what we're looking for is not what our customers are expecting. But we're really struggling with how do we get within our agencies from where we are today with our legacy technologies, the challenges you heard from all of our panelists previously, to what we experience every day in this platform that we carry around with us, right? Well, not to fear. Of course, I'm up here for a reason. This type of a platform delivery model that we utilize is really the aggregation of data from a multitude of different systems of record that are aggregated in a database. In our case, we call it a configuration management database. And then that information is presented through easy-to-use applications that provide the appropriate information to us at the right time for us to make the right decision. So the decision remains with the human, but we've automated and we've taken out all of the onerous steps of this type of an interaction, and we're moving that into that platform approach in our enterprise at-work experience. Along with that, we are shifting from buying everything and owning it and building it and having to maintain it ourselves, patch it, etc., into a subscription-based model. Again, we're being trained in our personal lives in this type of a model by a type of entertainment that we use at home, right? Whether it be Dish, DirecTV, Comcast, Verizon, doesn't matter. Now, I kind of date myself again with having a box up there, right? You don't even have to have a box now. You just stream the content that you want. But you subscribe to the packages that are appropriate for what you want to enjoy in your entertainment, whether it's sports, movies, whatever that may be. And you pay for that, but every channel, every experience that is available by that company is resident on the box. You only have to subscribe to more of it. So that type of a platform approach is really appealing. It speeds the delivery of new capabilities in the enterprise and shortens that time and expense of certification and accreditation of new technologies. Yeah, this is really kind of what we deal with at our agencies today, right? We've invested heavily into legacy technologies that is aligned to the different departments' functions. The problem is when you go to deliver the agency mission. The agency mission and the expectation of our customers, internal or external, are really looking across those silos of excellence, or the entrepreneurs within those individual departments. And that's where the automation that we've invested in really starts to break down, and you end up going back to manual processes, pulling information out of those systems of record, putting it into PowerPoint, Share, whatever it may be, SharePoint, into any of the technologies that allow you to aggregate information from multiple different systems. And that information is stale as soon as it's pulled out of those systems of record. So that's problematic for us. So we look at it from a different approach. We call this the universe slide. So what ServiceNow has been able to do over time is provide over 50 native applications out of the box. We didn't start that way. We just started with IT service management. But that service delivery model of someone has a request and there's a group of folks that are going to fulfill that request, and that model is kind of common regardless of the different departments that it's servicing, has our customers take us into all of the other areas that you see around this wheel. The real secret sauce, just like in the platform that we carry around with us though, is we utilize a single data model and common application logic. So everything's natively interoperable. All those applications can hit the data that was created by all the other applications. In addition to that, we can pull information from other systems of record into the CMDB, just like the platform example that we use every day in our personal lives. This allows us to continually provide new capabilities to our customers through a subscription basis. So we're innovating, we're introducing new technologies on the platform, and our customers can just take advantage of that rather than going through the entire buying cycle of figuring out technology and how to introduce it on your own. So we've grouped all of those different individual applications into the major functions of an organization, whether that be IT management, security operations, consumer relationship and consumer services management, CSM, HR, which is truly cross-cutting, right? I don't know about you all. When I retired from the federal government, wasn't that long ago. I know you were thinking, oh, that's a long time ago. Not really. I still had a paper form. I had to go around to each department to check out of the agency in order to be clear of my duties. But when I checked into ServiceNow, guess what? I go to the office. There's a laptop sitting on the desk. I open the laptop. There's login instructions. I create my account. I start associating all of my benefit and contact information. I didn't talk to an HR person the whole time, and it took me one day. So I was up and running and productive very quickly. That experience is available today when we start to shift from focusing on applications and an entire stack of software that supports one function in one line of business to a platform that has a multitude of capabilities across the enterprise. That make sense? So let's talk a little bit about AI, since we're talking about new emerging technologies and how you get some of that, right? So AI is the new buzzword. Not that long ago, it was cloud. And many agencies are still dealing with how they're going to take advantage of cloud. You heard some of that earlier this morning. And we can help remove the burden of that too, because while ServiceNow offers a federal private cloud in our federal data centers, we have two of them, they're mirrored, they run hot, and it's FedRAMP certified to moderate, we're going to high. We also allow for deployment of the same software with the same capabilities in your data center. So you can reduce the risk of moving to the cloud by having the same capabilities of a modern platform experience deployed in your environment, and then shift that workload into an instance in our cloud when you're comfortable with that and your security guys are fully aware of how they apply those controls. So it reduces the risk of moving into the new cloud environment. So that type of a model really is what we look at across our deployment of new technologies. We do 2 releases a year, a major and a minor, and in our major releases is when we release new technologies. So AI, there are many different flavors of AI, and that's one of the challenges, right? If you're in an agency, you have to figure out what kind of AI is going to work for me, and then how do I get it, how do I integrate it, and then maintain it in order to get the outcomes. Now, that becomes daunting for most organizations. You heard about the challenges of having qualified and trained individuals within our agencies. So we decided to make it a native part of the platform to remove all of that turmoil of actually acquiring new technologies and making it part of the platform experience. So really all you have to do is figure out what are the business outcomes that you'd like artificial intelligence and machine learning to help you achieve, and then having those data sets that are native to the CMDB and ServiceNow utilized by the AI, and you've got the capabilities you're looking for. So it makes it what I call practical AI. I mentioned the 2 releases a year. We're currently in Kingston. London will be our next FedRAMP certified release. We name them after cities. New York's after that. And that's really our approach to helping agencies continually stay up with technology, deliver new capabilities, lower the cost of delivering new capabilities, and increasing your cybersecurity posture through the visibility into those databases. I'd like to invite you all, if you'd like to know more about ServiceNow, we are having our federal summit at the Reagan Center on the 7th of November, where our customers and our partners are delivering the content of how they're transforming and delivering this commercial-like experience in their agencies today. And that's it. Thank you very much.